this channel, OHL in 20. This is going to be a breakdown of the past three OHL preseason games that happened on Tuesday, September 17th, Wednesday, September 18th, and yesterday, as in Thursday, September 19th. There are 5 OHL games happening today at the time of this recording on Friday, September 20th. There are 5 games happening on Saturday, September 21st, and then the last day of preseason, there's going to be 2 games on Sunday, September 22nd. I'm going to do a breakdown recap video for all the games happening on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. This video specifically is for the preseason games that happened on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday this week. So let's start on Tuesday, September 17th. This game was between the Windsor Spitfires and the Sarnia Sting in Sarnia, and it was the Windsor Spitfires who came away with the victory over Sarnia with a score of 7-6 in a shootout. Tanner Wingard for the Windsor Spitfires, he ended up scoring in the 10th round of the shootout against the Sarnia Sting to claim that victory. Wow, 10 shootout rounds for this preseason game. And in net for the Windsor Spitfires, it was Carter Froget. He ended up stopping 8 out of 10 shots against the Sarnia offense, so pretty remarkable performance by the netminder for the Spitfires. Well, just imagine this, the Windsor Spitfires were down against Sarnia 6-5 with 1:40 left in the third period, and it was Noah Morneau who ended up scoring his second of the game to tie this score up, to send this to a shootout where the Windsor Spitfires would end up coming out victorious over Sarnia. As Windsor forwards Ethan Belchez and Jack Nesbitt, they ended up both scoring with a goal and an assist. So pretty remarkable offensive performance for all of these Windsor Spitfire individuals who had a great performance. Well, what happened on the Sarnia Sting end of things? Well, it was Sting rookie Ryan Chamberlain. He ended up scoring twice in this game, while Ethan Wainwright, we're all familiar with him, he ended up having a goal and assist despite the Sarnia loss in this game over Windsor. So overall, how did the Windsor Spitfires do? Well, it was Windsor who ended up outshooting Sarnia 35-32 as they went 2 for 9 on the power play. So, I mean, we know that Windsor was dead last in the league last season, but you're starting to see some overall results of that the Windsor Spitfires were simply just looking to give it their best. I mean, again, this is preseason, just remarkable for performance over a Sarnia team that's looking to be very competitive next season. So, great performance by Windsor. And in terms of the results for this preseason, Windsor ends up improving to 3-0, while Sarnia, they sit at 1-2. This is still preseason, but I mean, this is all what we look forward to. And some of these individuals that can play a remarkable performance going into the upcoming regular season. All right, let's head to the next day on Wednesday, September 18th. Well, there were only 2 games happening on Wednesday night, and it was the Owen Sound Attack versus the Barrie Colts, and Owen Sound, they came on top over the Colts with a final score of 4-2. While the other game happening, it was the Saginaw Spirit, the reigning Memorial Cup champions from last year, who ended up defeating the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds with a final score of 6-3. So let's see how these 2 games both played out. Let's start off with the Barrie Colt and Owen Sound game. It was goaltender Matthew Kaprowski. He ended up stopping 30 of 32 shots for the Owen Sound Attack to earn that victory, while it was Braden Rogers who ended up having a goal and an assist for the Attack. So not too bad of a night for Owen Sound against Barrie. Teos Jordan, Ethan Kindray, and Landon Hookie, they all ended up joining Braden Rogers in the goal scoring department for the Owen Sound Attack. As a result, the Owen Sound Attack came out on top over this game. If you're interested in learning more about this game, I highly recommend that you go check out play-by-play commentator for the Barrie Colts, Mike Poirier. He is just a phenomenal commentator, and his YouTube channel is From the Booth with Mike. I highly recommend that you go check it out. Now, in terms of the Barrie Colt goals, it was Ronick Jodwin and Justin Hanser who both ended up scoring the Barrie goals, as they also ended up outshooting Owen Sound 32-27 despite the loss for the Barrie Colts. So great performance. But you could just see, they had great momentum on their offensive side of the game, which really proved how close this game ended up being. I mean, 4-2 loss, not too bad, but again, still preseason. And then, well, it was the Owen Sound Attack who came out victorious in this game, but it was also their first preseason win. So that is a very interesting result. But again, it proved that the Owen Sound Attack were able to stop the Barrie Colts run. I was actually watching the Barrie Colts game last night, and that was against the Brampton Steelheads. Great call by Mike Poirier on Rogers TV, by the way. And despite the Barrie Colts losing that game, they were able to pick up a win in Brampton and at home versus the Oshawa Generals to start off the preseason. So despite the loss, Owen Sound does pick up their first win. Let's go off to Sault Ste. Marie, where it was the reigning Memorial Cup champion Saginaw Spirit who ended up defeating the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds with a final score of 6-3. Well, in this game, it was 2025 NHL draft prospect Michael Misa who ended up having 4 points in this game with 2 goals and 2 assists to lead the Saginaw Spirit to victory over the Greyhounds. It was Nick Sema who also ended up scoring twice for Saginaw, while Kristen Epperson, he finished with a goal and 2 assists in this game as well. So great offensive performance by Saginaw, and expect to see more of this going into the regular season. Now, also for Saginaw, it was Jacob Cloutier who also scored for the Spirit, while James Guo, he also had a pair and assists in this game. So this game all belonged to Saginaw, and it was a dominant performance considering how offensively good this Saginaw team was over the Greyhounds. Now, in terms of those Greyhounds in Sault Ste. Marie, it was Sam Bones who ended up recording a goal and an assist, while it was Eric Muxlow and Carson Andrew who also participated in getting some points in this game despite the loss. Now, in terms of the shots, Saginaw, you would expect they had the upper hand as they had 36 over 26 shots over the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds. While in net for the Saginaw Spirit, it was Andrew Oak and Sammy Desplasi who shared the crease, combining 23 saves for the win as the Saginaw Spirits were able to pick up the victory on Wednesday night. And now let's head to the last 2 preseason games to end off this video. On Thursday night, on September 19th, it was the Brampton Steelheads on the road at the Southern Arena to take on the Barrie Colts, where they defeated Barrie with a final score of 2-1. This game was on Rogers TV, and man, it was close right down to the wire. It was also the Windsor Spitfires who ended up defeating the Flint Firebirds. This one was in LaSalle, so despite Flint not having home ice advantage in this one, it was nice to see another preseason game taking part in another smaller community rink. So let's start off with the game I watched last night on Rogers TV, the Brampton Steelheads and the Barrie Colts. Now, it was draft eligible netminder for the Brampton Steelheads in Jack Ivankovic. He ended up stopping 36 of 37 shots for the Steelheads to earn that first star and the 2-1 victory over Barrie. It was Parker Von Richer. He ended up scoring the third period goal to give the Steelheads the lead. This game was tied at 1. Very close and very contestant game, but it was Brampton that came on top. As joining in with these points, it was also Emmanuel Amato who also ended up scoring in this game for the Brampton Steelheads. And in terms of the Barrie Colts side of the ice, it was rookie Parker Vaughn who scored the only goal for Barrie. He was actually interviewed in the intermission last night. And, he's just a dominant force who's, making his OHL debut with the Barrie Colts. Physical young athlete who's looking to give it all he can in this upcoming season. I'm a huge Barrie Colts fan myself, and I just love seeing newcomers come into the Salin Arena time and time again, every year, every night, every season, and just giving their best performance and just seeing what eligible players could potentially be heading to the NHL draft and where they could potentially end up in their hockey career going forward. Well, despite the loss, it was Barrie who ended up out shooting Brampton 37-30. And in net for Barrie, as I saw both netminders swap places, it was Ben Herbeck and Arvin Joswal with a combined 28 shots for the Colts, even though they ended up losing the game. So the Barrie Colts, they wrap up their preseason very dominant, I would say. But you never know what is going to unfold this coming season because you have some very deep competitors and rivalries, not just in the Central Division, but also in the East, too. Central Division is going to be very tight, I would say, this season. Not only do you have Barrie in there, but you have Brampton, who's considerably supposed to be maybe the top third team in the CHL. And you also have, I mean, the North Bay Battalion, they're very dominant too. You look in the East where you have Oshawa and you have the Brantford Bulldogs. And then you just look to the West and you just think, wow, what dominant effort are we going to see from teams like Sault Ste. Marie, Saginaw, London, Kitchener? Only time's going to tell, but that's what I really think is going to take place as we get ready for this upcoming season. And the final game that took place on Thursday night, last night, it was the Windsor Spitfires who came out on top over the Flint Firebirds with a final score of 5-3 in LaSalle. Well, it was first overall OHL priority selection in Ethan Belches, who ended up opening the scoring with a pair for the Windsor Spitfires to earn the 5-3 victory over the Flint Firebirds. It was Jack Nesbitt, Evan Hedgeholt, and Noah Morneau who also ended up scoring for the Windsor Spitfires in this game. It was Marco Stojov, Evan Koinen, and Jimmy Lombardi who provided the Flint goals in this game, while it was Chris Theobardo. He had a pair of 2 assists. Now, Chris Theobardo, he's been very active, and we've seen him just giving his best performance in this preseason for the Flint Firebirds. But despite this loss for Flint, I think they should be very proud of themselves for the overall effort that the Firebirds gave in this game. Now, how did the goaltending turn out for this game? Well, it was Carter Froget who ended up stopping 20 of 23 shots for the Windsor Spitfires. And on the Flint end, it was Jacob Brown who made 28 saves despite the loss for Flint. And as mentioned at the beginning of this game, it was played at the Volmer Recreation Center in LaSalle, Ontario. So even though Flint had home ice advantage, well, it was in Ontario. So I think we can give both teams the home ice advantage in this one. So that is just a recap of the preseason that happened this week on September 17th, 18th, and 19th. But what to expect this weekend on the preseason schedule? Well, at the recording of this video for Friday, September 20th, we have the Sarnia Sting playing in London at the Budweiser Gardens. This is going to be a very contestant game, I think, because these two teams are very well known for each other, and I would assume that we're going to have somewhat of a pretty big rivalry. I'm actually part of the London Knights and Sarnia Sting Facebook groups, and man, when these two teams collide, anything can happen. We also have the Peterborough Petes playing in Kingston, and that game is currently also underway. We have the North Bay Battalion playing at Ottawa, and that game is also underway. All these games are underway, by the way, with Sault Ste. Marie in Sudbury to face the Wolves, and then the Oshawa Generals are on the road to play in Erie, but this game is actually being played at the Dunville Memorial Arena. So that will be a very interesting one because, again, we love to see these preseason games happening at smaller community rinks. And it's just a great way to get the fan bases out to, support the community, support each team, and just see what each team is capable of bringing in the preseason before the regular season gets underway. On Saturday, we are going to have the Kingston Frontenacs and the Ottawa 67s playing at the Cornwall Civic Complex. Now, there's been a lot of speculation in the past with with the Eastern division expanding potentially to another OHL market in Cornwall, Ontario. Could these two teams be playing in the future arena of an OHL franchise? We'll have to see. So that game is happening on Saturday tomorrow. We also have tomorrow happening at the Brantford Civic Center. The Kitchener Rangers will be on town to play the Bulldogs. Happening at the Canvan Monaghan Community Center, we have the Guelph Storm playing against the Peterborough Petes. Peterborough having home ice advantage in this game. Happening back in Sarnia, so this is a repeat of tonight's game, Sarnia at London. Tomorrow, it's the London Knights playing in Sarnia at the Progressive Auto Sales Arena in Sarnia, Ontario. And then to finish off the night for Saturday, we have the Niagara Ice Dogs playing in Windsor, but this game is going to be playing at the Atlas Tube Center. And then to finish off the preseason on Sunday afternoon, we have the North Bay Battalion playing in Owen Sound at 2 o'clock p.m. And to finish off the preseason in the evening, the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds are on the road to play the Saginaw Spirit at the Dow Event Center. So lots to look forward to as we close out this preseason. Let me know what your thoughts are on all of these preseason games that have been taking place. And who are you looking forward to seeing this preseason, as a lot of management teams on these clubs have been mixing their rosters around, and we could see some maybe future potential NHL stars playing on these franchises this year. So be sure to like this video, subscribe, tell your friends, and be sure to check out this channel upcoming for the regular season. Thanks so much, and we'll see you again soon.